that I have been very, very excited to have on. A fellow Val player, a fellow FPS enthusiast, a fellow Escape from Tarkov player. He is Immortal 3 in Val. He has a 5.5 KD in Escape from Tarkov, which is actually pretty impressive.
Correct.
He is Onyx in Halo Infinite. And he is not a one, not a two, but a 3-time world champion in Mech Warrior. Heimdelight, everyone.
Thanks for having me, guys. What an intro. I appreciate it.
There you go. I'm working on them, like pod by pod. I'll start breaking out the intros. Now I feel bad for Gally. I didn't give him as good as an intro.
So no. We'll get next time, man.
Yeah, I'll hit him next time. I'll get
intros.
Yeah. I'll hit him next time on the intros. So Heimdelight, everyone, if you don't know, you should know him. But if you don't know, he is probably the most mechanically gifted player in Star Citizen that I know of, at least. I mean, I wouldn't you agree, Matt? I would say you are probably the most mechanically gifted player. I don't think people understand really how hard it is to go like Immortal 3 in Val or Onyx and Halo. Like, for example, like Immortal and Val is top 10,000 in your region. That's pretty impressive in a game that has millions, if not millions, of players.
Yeah, and it's I know it's changed nowadays. Like, I think if you look at the current leaderboards and stuff, it's not. I think like the Immortal 1 is like 1,000. I don't know what happened to the rankings, or if there just wasn't a lot of people playing this season or what, but yeah, I know things have changed, but back then it was pretty wild. Like when I got to that rank, like everyone in that pool was cracked. It was like TSM. I was fighting TSM like Sabrosa. Was it like Wardell? I don't know if you remember Wardell.
Yeah, I remember
long
Wardell.
Ago when he was on TSM too. Like we were fighting a bunch of them in queue, and it was lit. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. And then it kind of like those guys kind of fell off, and the population for that game got really good at the game. I will say, like, I tried to get back into it at one point with my buddies because like I quit. I was just like, all right, I'm done with Val. That was it. I'm spent. I got to Immortal 3, like grinded the crap out of it. I got burnt out, and I was like, all right, we're
Gucci here.
Yeah, that player base is something else, man. Like the grind through Ascendant the last time I tried, that was a grind. Like I was not as committed as I was the first time, so I only got to like mid Ascendant or Ascendant 3. I was pretty close, but like I just said, I can't do this again. It's like every day, you know, bro. Like
yeah, trust me. I feel that as someone who rage quitted literally last night after dropping 30, and they voted to draw in 2 overtimes, dude. It's the worst. I raged so hard. So I was
all
like,
that time,
we're good. Yeah, literally all that time, and I dropped 30 kills, 30 frags, and I get nothing for it. So whatever. So I feel that, but yeah, the skill in that game has gone up insane. Like if you look at like 2021 champs versus Fnatic Paper X on Sunday, the skill difference in that game is insane. Like the type of Val they're playing is like, it's a completely different game, honestly.
Yeah, before it was like these executes where it was like kind of YOLO. As long as they had all the pieces in place, they would execute, but now it's like the teams are like trying to find wiggle room before they even execute now. It's looking like a lot more like CS does when you watch the pro play. So it's like, it's a totally different thing. And now like Ye's coming back and all this other cool stuff.
I'm so happy for him, man. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
I was happy for Paper X. Watching Paper X went like, I love Boaster, so I was kind of rooting for Fnatic, to be honest. But the fact that Paper X won though, after they won, I was like, man, what was that view? Like rooting for Fnatic for, like Paper X winning was awesome. Like that was so cool. I was so happy for him. So happy for Forsaken. Like,
yeah, and Jing was like making all these crazy plays that literally win them rounds, and I'm like, bro, dude, talk about like impact frags, man. Like
his
there's just a lot there. Yeah, good teamwork. Sorry.
No, my bad. So I was gonna say his execute on Raze from art into A site on Pearl is insane.
Yeah,
his movement, his double, insane. I was like, we already know Jig's the best Raze player probably to ever live and will ever live, at least in my opinion. But after watching him do that, I was like, bro, yeah, Paper X is just a lot of fun to watch.
The only person I enjoyed watching more was like Sinatra, basically. But that was
Rip.
Watching Sinatra play any agent in the game was just like there's this. I'm telling you, during that early period of Val, that dude owned everything. It was like
The
you wanted
prince
to
that
learn how
never
to play a
was.
character, you go watch
Yeah.
Sinatra play Sova, Breach, Braze, whatever, and it's just like he was just doing it all fucking perfect. The guy was just the goat back then.
Yeah.
But rip that one.
Dude. Yeah, rip. And then like, yeah, with the recent stuff with like floor and everything, and like I mean, we don't have to get too much into it, but like just the difference, like the duality between how Riot handled floor to like how Riot handled
Oh, yeah,
Sinatra. I was like, damn,
I
bro.
think I really do feel like they're heavy-handed against NA in general. Like I don't like the
Yes.
franchising decisions they did or any of that stuff. So it's like I don't know. Well, yeah, that recent controversy, they really tried to sweep it under the rug. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, did my boy
I
Sinatra dirty. That's all I'll say on that on here.
yeah.
But like, I was like, damn, dude, like, I just couldn't believe it, and it's sad because Sinatra is a really good player, but yeah, it's nice seeing like Ye coming back into the limelight though from like EG and with the goat Potter. Like I like Potter. See, I'm like I'm a Sen fan naturally. Like I think
Yeah.
most people are, but at least in NA,
It's the brand,
and
man.
it's the brand. Yeah, their branding's just goaded with like Tarek and now and everyone on the brand and like tens obviously right. Like I grew up in Val watching tens, right? So like for me, it was like an easy like from C9 over to
Oh
Sentinels.
yeah. That was C9 before Sentinels. I remember that.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
some people might ask, why are we in Star
yeah,
Citizen?
why are we talking Val with Star Citizen? I was literally about to say sorry, Meta. Meta's over here chilling like he has no idea what we're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We're speaking Chinese over here. It's just another tac shooter that it's like CS:GO if you know what it is, but like
Valorant?
yeah.
Oh, I know what Valorant is. I can't stand that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Well, Meta,
Neither can we.
you like extraction shooters, right? Like
I do.
What
Like
did you ever play Cycle Frontier?
I did. I played the hell out of it, and then there was a hacker problem, so I kind of
Yeah,
dipped off a little bit, and then they ended up sunsetting the servers, which was super sad.
man,
But
that was like I think the best extraction shooter that I've ever played, and it's such a shame that it had so many cheaters.
it was so fun, like, because everybody starts with Tarkov, I feel like, but moving to that, it was like not as hardcore, but it was still like fun and competitive. So I
Yeah,
was really down with it. But then, like I said, cheaters, sunsetting the servers, it was big L on that part. That sucks.
yeah. Well, on that note, wouldn't you say Star Citizen is sort of like Cycle Frontier, except like you're driving the ship from the station to a planet to go get loot, and then you bring it back to the station, and it's like that's your home station,
I,
kind of like Cycle was.
Absolutely. I've always been that one. I'm like, Star Citizen is an extraction shooter. You just do all of it. The loading screen doesn't extract you. You
Right,
have to get
that's a good
yourself
point.
out of there. Like,
that is an amazing point, Meta, that I actually
it
never
is.
thought
Like,
of.
you
I'm
just
literally
do it
playing
all.
Space Tarkov.
You
Yeah,
have to do it all. There's not a loading screen. There's not a safe zone to get you out. I mean, I guess you can go to menu sometimes if you're not
Armistice zones.
PvP, but
Exit to menu a little cheesy.
yeah,
They
it's
gotta
cheesy. They gotta fix
they
that.
like if you have like a high value item on you, you shouldn't even be able to exit to menu. I think your character should just like stand there. If you if you
Yeah.
exit to menu, your character stands there until you
Or
log
like the
back in,
DayZ
like-
timer, instead of 30 seconds, make it like a minute to log out or something like that.
Definitely
I-
increase
well,
the
it's-
time for sure.
I think it's like 2 minutes right now, but I think the issue is that you could just like literally stuff the like during Hathor.
Mhm.
What a lot of people
God.
were doing was stuff.
Yes.
like the group I'm in, we only tried to steal shit from people basically. Like no one in my org wanted to like go in the geo and mine, which I didn't mind it. I did it. I'm not gonna lie, some of us did it, but like most of the Karenite we took was like from other groups, right? But it was frustrating because they like, oh, we're getting attacked. Oh, all right, get out of the geo, grab the Karenite, and exit to menu. And it's
Yep.
like you can't get it at that point. Like that, it should. Once you have that stuff in your backpack, I think the combat log stuff should turn into like a crazy 30-minute timer or something. Like your body's literally just standing there for a half hour until you actually get out. Because like, what if someone? I mean, I don't know. It's like kind of cheesy. I think you should have to actually get that loot out because, like you're saying, it's like an extraction shooter. The safe zone is like the station. Like
Yep.
all you gotta do is make it back to the station. Like it's not like, that's a crazy task. Once you get it there, it's safe.
Yep.
It's not like people can take it. So like I don't understand why that you can just exit the menu with all this like super valuable stuff, or like the another one right now is like the Valacar pearls from the new event.
Mm-hmm.
Like
They're
people will mine
same
them and then
thing.
just exit to menu. Yep, it's like, okay, well, I can't get that many if I go counter a worm. It's like expect the pearls to be gone. At least the freight elevators are broken, so I could steal
Oh.
fangs from people like on when they're trying to ferry them back on the shuttle. But
Yeah, me
That's
and Meta
what we
almost
did.
did that the other day.
That's what we
We
did
literally
do.
did that the other day.
Dude,
We had a really cool experience where we wanted to go into I got the Geo Icti, and I got a bunch of us on, and I got a bunch of them in the tack, and I was like, oh, let's just hell dive in. It would be a really cool shot. Like someone will go on the ground, do the worm, and then we'll just hell dive in on top of them. Like great video idea. And we went to Pyro 1, and literally every site was filled. And it had Idrises just patrolling the ground. And I was in attack, so I'm like, I'm not getting on the fucking ground. So, but then we noticed that I could hear the battle music. And I was like, wait a second. Can we like geolocate with the battle sound and
No.
like the Valacar
Yep,
sound?
yep.
Like, can I geolocate where it is? And you can scan if you in my tack. I went nose down, like above, like 7 kilometers up, and if you hit scan, you can see the worm. So I got us over the worm, and we hell dove in on another org, and it was like an 8-person org. And we wiped
That
them,
is
stole
awesome.
all the fangs and everything.
I
It was
gotta
unbelievable.
post that clip, but there's literally, I think 6 of us in Icties in the back of attack hovering over the site. So you got a bunch of dudes on the ground fighting the worm, and then here comes 6 Chads and Icties just dropping from the sky, bro. And
Only
we're
in
just
Star Citizen.
Only in Star Citizen,
exactly,
man.
like
Well, I think that's cool too, right? Like, I mean, we talk shit all the time. Like, you go on PvP Twitter, and it's just like
Mhm.
hate all day long. But there is still some really cool moments that we have in Star Citizen, like that make me like happy about the future, or maybe optimistic rather about the future of going like, okay, the base layer is somewhat there. Like, obviously, there's a shit ton of polish. There's a bunch of mechanics they need to put in. They need to tune a lot of stuff, but at least the moments are still there in like a relatively like scarce alpha, more or less, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, like when you go to like last patch, you're on Hathor, and you're like getting the sunlight just right, and the planet's turning, and you see
Yeah.
Crusader in the
Yep.
distance, and
Yeah.
there's some Idris and a Polaris fighting above you, and it's like someone shoots the late dude. Like it was some of the coolest visual things in all of video gaming, hands down. Like the scale of it too. Like you're like, wow, those ships are massive. And they're all fighting in the air. That is crazy, actually.
Yeah, you come out of the hole after like 4 hours of mining, and you see an Idris, like an enemy Idris above you. You're like, oh fuck, dude! Like, how am I getting out of here? Which is like going back to your point earlier. Like, even those players who menu log, and like I think we've all done it. Let's be honest. But like, even though if you do menu log, you're doing yourself a disservice though, because you're getting yourself out of an experience that you wouldn't have had. That probably is a lot of fun, right? So like I come like in my situation, right? I came out of the hole. I saw an Idris, which I didn't, but let's just say I did, and it was a Polaris at a time. Actually, this did happen to me, right? I come out of the hole. There's a Polaris, not mine, and I got to get out of there. And so I had to sneak out of there in the fighter that I had by the hole to like quickly get me in and out. And I was shaking. Like that reminded me of Tarkov when you got like red key card or something, and you're like, "Oh shit, get me
like
out of raid right
yeah.
now!" Yeah, get me out of raid right now. And your hands trembling and everything, and like that's cool. But if you menu log, like you're doing yourself a disservice by not having that experience.
Yeah, like I said, I think high value loot should just automatically trigger like some huge combat log timer, so that people can't do that because it's just I don't know. I can understand like why people do it. Like imagine you run into a bunch of bugs or something, and then like you finally get the thing that you want and you need for Wikello, and you're just like, I'm not fighting my way out of that. Screw that. Like I just ran into bugs for 3 hours. Finally got it. I'm going to sleep. Like you just that person just logs off. It's like I kind of get it at that point. Like if the game, I think if on this topic, I think a lot of the game's issues and like a lot of perceived design issues would actually be solved with the reduction, like a severe, like a massive reduction of bugs. Like if the game was seriously polished and had really decent performance, I think like a lot of people wouldn't want to exit to menu, if you get what I mean. Like they'd be okay
Yeah.
with just like having to take that loot back every time, and they don't mind. I don't like, for example, I don't mind all the tedium of moving boxes and all the other manual input related stuff in the game, because I think that's what this game is big on, is like you can't just run some multi-box setup like Eve. It's not like an RTS. There's a lot of constant, like manual input where that person behind a computer has to be constantly moving, clicking, getting out of the seat, carrying this box, going back, clicking this button. And it's just like, um, that kind of game, if you have bugs, it just makes it like really unenjoyable. But if a game doesn't have bugs and it has that design, it's perfectly fine. Like most people would have no issue with, oh, it took me 10 years to get down to the planet, blah, blah, blah. It took me so long to get re-kitted. Like, it doesn't take me long, but I get like maybe they ran into a couple bugs while they were doing it, and I know how to get around the bugs, but they don't. So it's like 5 minutes for me is like maybe 15 for them. And it's like, I genuinely feel like a lot of people in this game would view the game significantly different if there were less bugs. Like they would give their feedback and criticism with kind of like an understanding that like, well, my experience sucked because of bugs. It wasn't because of this design feature. Like, but a lot of people take out their frustration with bugs on the design features themselves, and I think that's like a huge issue that CIG currently has. I think a lot of their player base, like their feedback stems from bug issues. And it's like I think they would not feel the same way if there were no bugs. It's definitely the next big thing I think they need to focus on. Like the whole year of polish thing. It needs to keep going. It needs to go past the 1 year. I
Yeah,
hope they just keep going, bro.
I was
Like
just about to be like, your playability.
yeah, your playability, baby, which I don't know about you guys, has been a little bit disappointing so far. I mean, it's been almost 7 months in, and they've done some good, but the server meshing for me is a little bit of a concern, right? Like, I think a great example of that is the new Balikar like event, where you go there and my inventory doesn't load, or it loads after a minute, and then the elevators are broken, and this, that, the other thing, or it's always something. And now I'm not an engineer. I have no idea if it has anything to do with server meshing, or maybe it's just like the perceived marketing that they've given out of that server meshing is this god tech that will fix everything, and I've kind of swallowed that pill.
it was the previous to 4.0, it was definitely the leading opinion by most
Yeah.
people, is that server meshing in whatever form it comes in would be a huge improvement over what we had before. And I will say, from an objective standpoint, a lot of the game has improved. I prior to 4.0, I would try and show people the game all the time, and we would run into bug after bug after bug after bug. And I've been showing some new people the game in the last few months, and every single time, I don't know why now, but I eat my words now. I will tell them, like, I'll prep them, like, all right, this game's an alpha, just letting you know there might be some bugs. They're like, okay, yeah, no big deal, whatever. And we play and we don't run into any bugs. And I'm like, guys, I'm like, this is not, I'm like, don't. I'm like, this is not the normal experience. Like,
It's not usually this good.
Okay, you should. Yeah.
they're like, oh no, you're full of crap. They were like, you're just like trying to talk crap about the game. They were like, this game's pretty cool, man. And they're like, it runs pretty decent. I'm like, God, I'm like, stop. I'm like, no, you don't.
You're gonna jinx it, bro.
You know,
Chill with that. Yeah.
I was like, go ahead, just keep play your heart out. You'll eventually run
Yeah.
into a bug that you'll get mad at. And
Yeah.
some of them did eventually, but it's I think on that note, it has improved big time. Like compared to before, it was horrible.
I would
Like the
agree.
prior to 4.0,
Yep.
it was. I think it is not. It was not a game that you could get the average gamer even remotely into. Like there was such a low chance, and it was all. If you liked it back then, it was all passion. You know, like nowadays it's a lot more digestible. And there's still a lot of work to do for sure. I do think that if they kept going with this year of polish or whatever for another 6, 7 months, I think the game would still be like again in a much better state than it was 6 months ago. Because 4.0 launch was horrible compared to how it is now too. So
Right.
People forget.
big steps.
I forget about that, honestly. How bad the original was. Even their improvement from PTU, early PTU of 4.2 compared to like when we played it this weekend meta, it was like a completely different game.
It's been a general good experience for the most part. It's been about like 85% fun and then the rest bugs. Which before it was probably 50-50, if not way more of an offset.
60-40.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
70-30. Yeah, yeah.
But and like you were saying, I think something else, and this is a little off topic, but something else that kind of helps the game being digestible, at least for me as a PvP player, is before 4.0, we were also only working with about 100 players per server, and they jumped that shit up to 650. I've even seen some 700 player servers, and I think that is something that's important because people run into each other a lot more. So there's a lot more interaction than there also was previous to 4.0.
If only VoIP worked 24/7.
It works sometimes.
Yeah.
But
It's like
VoIP,
imagine.
yeah, that's a big one. Is VoIP? I feel like this game
Yeah.
needs VoIP. 100%.
Oh, that's right.
It has to.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like burnt peanut esque
Yeah.
interactions with everyone? Like how fun would Star Citizen be? Like you just go around and do that. Like we tried to talk to the 3-man meta the other day in the contested zone. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Because we couldn't hear
like,
you.
hey,
it's like
guys.
silent. Yeah, like cool.
Hey, hello.
Yeah, glad we're all friends, guys. Like, yeah. I was speaking to myself, bro. I was like, am I going crazy?
There was one the other day. We actually had my VoIP wasn't working, but the other guy's VoIP was working. So we were in the what is it? The armory at the worm site or whatever. And me and Epitome have just been running around slapping people in there. I mean, like we do. So we're sitting in there, and I see 3 guys walk through the front door, and there's that big window, and I'm like, oh. Eric, get down! So we're sitting there hiding under the window, and you can see this guy walk up, like looking in the window, and then the door opens in the armory. They put the code in. We gun down 2 of their boys. The third guy's standing at the window watching us do it. And then I started flashing my light at him because my VoIP's not working. He goes, "Hey guys," and it was just little shit like that that I think was hilarious. Like
That's that is so funny. He just mowed down his friends, and he's like, "Hey,
hey.
how we doing?
And then he ran, bro. He booked it. He was like, "I'm out."
That's too
man.
good."
Is
Yeah,
Meta confirmed a
they gotta
rat?
fix it.
What?
Meta's ratting nowadays?
No, that's crazy.
That's what
bro.
I just heard, Chad. I don't know about
He was
you guys,
hiding.
but
He
I
said, "Get
heard rat.
Bro,
That's
bro.
what I heard.
I saw 3 of them come in. I thought 6 of them were about to come in. I thought a whole group was. I was like, oh, we need to.
Strategic ratting.
It's tactical, you know what I'm saying?
Tactical ratting. Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right.
I will say that the addition of the 600 players was a big help. It's so like I would try and get my some of my more PvP focused friends into the game, and I'm like flying around prior to 4.0 just like for an hour before I find a single person. It's like now you run through a contested zone, you'll run into someone. You go to the even this patch apparently there's still people doing Hathor.
Mm-hmm.
There's still people doing executive hangers. There's still people doing the new worm thing. Like there's literally if you spend 30-40 minutes looking for PvP now, you're probably going to find it within 30-40 minutes. It's not like 2 hours of nothing. You're just flying around like before, and that is way better for PvPers. You can't be like a PvPer and only PvPing once every 2 hours. Like it's
Right.
just like that's not a PvP game. That's like a yeah.
No,
It is
100%.
nice.
I
I
miss
was a little
Jumptown.
bit. Oh, Jumptown.
I miss
Yes.
Jumptown, man.
Yes. Yes.
We need another Jumptown.
We do. We do need another Jumptown.
Oh,
I'm sure they'll come out with something similar to that at some point, right? Because there's enough people barking about they want it in that they'll have to, and it's easy for them, right? Like I would assume that they have all the pieces in place.
I mean, yeah, they've done it so many times. I do. I think it needs to be. I mean, does it really need to be refined though? I don't know. It seems so simple, but I think what they were worried about is with if they added the Jumptown thing, if they only had the same amount of places doing it, then the servers would overcrowd like we did with Galley, and the shards would die. I think
It's
that's
a fair
kind of,
point.
but
That's a fair point.
but that could also be said for the worm sites. And I think the more this is also a little, but I think the more PvP stuff they add into the game, the happier the PvE guys will be. Because we're not going to be chasing them and murder hoboing them anymore. We have 6, 7 different places to go for all these PvP events. I think that'll be a big benefit moving forward.
It's not murder
Yeah.
hoboing if you die at a PvP site. That's more PvE
Sure.
players.
That's an argument that,
Yeah.
Twitter go crazy.
I just
man.
had to remind people. I just had to remind people. If you're complaining about PvP at a PvP site,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe your logic is a bit backwards.
I had
It's
somebody do
like,
it at an
oh,
executive.
this like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying I had somebody do it at an executive hangar the other day. We went there and we just showed up because we were gonna do it. There was a team of 4 people in there. We killed them. They had cards on them, so we took their cards and they're like, "Yo, we worked 4 hours for that, and then you guys came in and ruined it." And I'm like, "It's a PvP hotspot. What do you want? Like, this is the content. That's the point." That's they all got off.
I think that's something a lot of people don't understand when they talk about like the game and what a really good formula is. Like just take Tarkov for example. A lot of players find a way to go out and PvP most of the time and make profit by PvPing,
Hmm.
right? Like you don't always have to be grinding. You could just kill players, take their stuff, and that system is really good because if you're better than those players, you deserve the stuff. Like it's like the reward. Like you're beating them in a battle for that loot. It's like I a lot of people don't understand that like really basic part of a PvP game and how it's like a foundational part of it because like as a PvPer you want to be rewarded when you take people's loot. But like from the other person's standpoint, it's like, oh well I'm just some PvEer who did all this and it's like, but how often is someone better than you gonna like beat your group like that? Like it happened to you that one time and then they paint it as like that's the regular thing that happens all the time. It's like I don't think that that's the way it actually works out, if you get what I mean. Like, I
Hmm.
think these PvEers and people who farm these comp boards and stuff, like, you know, 1 out of every 10 times they do something, they actually get killed in PvP. You know what I mean? Like, I think this whole thing is completely overblown with the
It's definitely
PvEers
the
thinking they have issues with the PvPers. It's like you guys have a bajillion things you could do without ever seeing a player. I don't even want to hear it. Like,
100%.
it is the loud minority, I think, especially on like Reddit and stuff of those people, right? I don't think the sample size of like guys over on Reddit or Twitter or what have you is something that the majority of the player base is going through. I mean, I don't have that. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. But I want to pose a question though, right? Along this topic is isn't it fair though that the PvPers have gotten spoiled recently, right? We got 3 new pieces of content for us. Wouldn't it be then fair to say that the PvEers should also get like a dungeon or a raid type style, like that Arc Corp stuff that they showed at Citizen Con? I think that's probably, at least from what I've seen and like in my comments on TikTok and everything, like that's what a lot of people say is that like, okay, cool, but why is it all PvP, right?
I think there's two big things that play into this, and the one, and this is a whole different topic, um, not just at the last Citizen Con with the Area 18 sewers, but Aaron Roberts recently in an interview both mentioned that they want to instance a lot of these things in the verse.
This is what I was
I
going
don't
into,
know.
so not off
Yeah,
topic. This is what I
I
was going
don't,
into.
oh, so perfect. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, the thing is, that CIG does give us a lot of information, and I'm super appreciative of it, but there is some like really important information about what the final game design entails that they are definitely keeping close to their chest until it's actually implemented. We've seen multiple different systems implemented now with zero warning, basically. Just like put in the game. Here's the post. It's coming in 2 weeks. There, like Tier Zero is a huge example of that. Like, no one was asking for Tier Zero. I there's no threads on Spectrum like I should never lose my loot, blah blah blah. There's no big cry from PvEers like all this. Like people were generally agreed that like the only issue with losing your loot is that you lose it to bugs, right? So just another bug issue, not a game design issue, but a bug issue. And trying to think of I don't know, the whole instancing thing kind of worries me, you
I
know.
am probably the only person. Yeah, I hear you. So I have a very contradictory point of view on both those points, and I'm probably the only one that has this point, and like has this worldview of like instancing and tier zero and everything, and that's okay. I'm cool. I'm cool with being the only one. But my view on tier zero is I would like a middle ground of like I don't like tier zero. I like the idea of it, as in I get to wear what I want, and that's cool to me. Like I can express myself in my armor and my kit. Like I rock the Enduro set. I worked hard for that. I like it. I like wearing it. Right. I don't have to worry about, like you said, losing it to a bug, which is a great point. What I don't like about it though is like I would like to loot some guns. You know, so what if someone has a kit like AO3? I rock the AO3. I love the AO3. Like I want to collect them because they fall off my back all the time, right? So like stuff like that I would like. It's like they're for me it's like they're halfway there with tier zero, right? Like I like the idea around it, but the implementation, I guess this is why it's tier zero and not tier one or tier two, is that it's not finalized yet, right? In my head, right? There's good aspects of good there. There's aspects of bad there. But overall, I kind of like the idea of just that individual expression. And I think that's maybe because my background is very different than a lot of guys in this community, in the PvP community's background, right? I come from arcade shooters. I know. But hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. Right? I grew up playing like Battlefront, Battlefield, COD. I know. Going into Rainbow Six, Destiny is probably the biggest influence on me. Right? In Destiny, you got to earn this really cool gear, and when you wore that in the tower in a raid, you're like, damn, dude, that guy's good at the game, right? Or D1, if you had the full flawless set, you were like, damn, bro, like that guy's good. And I kind of like having that feeling in Star Citizen. Now, you could do that with insurance and still loot shit, right? So like there's definitely solutions around it. And I'm not saying tier zero is perfect by any means, but I'm saying there's different like ways to have your cake and eat it too, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I think oh, man, I had a good point. I just totally blanked on it, but
It's because I said I come from arcade shooters.
I love arcade shooters.
I
I'm
do
not gonna
too.
lie. Yeah, they're great.
I just see a vision. I just see a vision, like especially with this instancing, right? This instancing stuff is okay. It was just one quote, so I'm not gonna like have an opinion off just one random quote at a bar citizen or wherever it was, right? But my thing is like, can you imagine this scene of you have like a Gold Rush style battlefield gameplay loop of you're attacking a base and they only have X amount of tickets, the base that you're looting and trying to attack, and you have X amount of tickets. And yeah, it's arcadey, but you lose your base is the consequences, or you lose all that loot in the base, right? So it's still the same as like raiding in DayZ or whatever, but you still get the arcadey feel of like the replayability, like gameplay loop of like, oh shit, I just died trying to assault this base. Like, let me respawn and do it again. But oh shit, I just wasted a life. I have one life left. So my vision is okay. Instancing is cool, but also still have risks and reward there of like you have enemy tickets or you lose X amount of your own resources that you had to put into the raid itself, right? So like that Daisy example, I have to put in 10 C4 or I don't know, whatever, like 10, whatever the Star Citizen equivalent it is, like 10 Moabs or whatever to go raid this base or whatever the high resource is.
Yeah.
I lose that if I lose, and I lose it if I win. But if I win, I gain whatever is in the base. You know what I mean? So there's still risk and reward there, but it's instance and it's a little bit more arcadey, a little fast paced, a lot more fun. That's kind of my vision of it.
You saying like instancing a base raid, like PvP between two bases?
Yeah, yeah. I also think that's again, I'm not an engineer. I think that's probably the only way you can do it in a smooth way anyway in this game, at least in the current state.
So New World did that. The New World MMO, they did that
Yeah.
very well. And
it was fun.
It was a blast. I mean, you would raid the enemy's base, you would win a bunch of stuff or whatever. It wasn't like a player built base though. It was just kind of like a generic.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about like the ones they're talking about in CitizenCon of like here's your station, or I did a ground base for example, but you can extrapolate it to whatever you want.
I like your idea of that. I think, obviously me coming from an ARC background, I like the openness of just raiding whenever you want, all the time. It's always.
And I'm from Rust. So, that a big intro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie when I say this. Out of
8.5K hours, by the way.
Yeah, every game I played is like nothing compared to. I don't know. I think Ark and Rust and games like that are just on a different level. I don't even know how to explain it. Like I try and get into some. I try and like you try and explain it to someone else who hasn't played, and you're just like, no, dude, you are thinking about it every second of your fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You like will go to sleep dreaming of Rust. Like you're scared you're gonna wake up and your base is gonna be gone. Like every day. It is like tense as fuck. And then people don't get that. That was like the most hardcore experience. Like you log off, your body's just where you logged off with all of your fucking loot. Like there's no like, oh, I just woke up in my base. It's like, oh, my base is protected while I'm asleep. Like none of that. Like it is the most cutthroat game that I think has ever existed that I've ever played personally. And what's crazy about that game, and I like bringing it up a lot, is because it's an anomaly. It has pretty much defied the expectations of every single gamer out there that I've read. They all said, "Oh, too much hardcore PvP kills games," and I think the counter to that always has been like a lot of these games aren't doing it right. Mm-hmm. Like they are trying to be both. Like they're trying to like cater to both crowds, and it's fun for no one by the end of it. That's like a huge common issue. Rust doesn't care. Like the developer from Face Punch, he used to go and argue with people about the designs for the game on their subreddit. Like it'd get into long. I got into it with him. I was telling him like they implemented a new system a while back, and I replied to a comment he made about it, and I'm like, yeah, but this is what you're gonna do, and then long term people will get bored and this and that, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, we already thought about that, and that's not what's gonna happen. And dude, it's crazy because the game wasn't like small at that time, and the dude was still in the weeds with it. I
appreciate that. Honestly, you're making me want to play just based off of that fact alone. Like I appreciate that. That's quality.
Oh, man, it was, and he changed the system afterwards because a lot of people made the same comments I did, and it's just like that's when I knew like, oh man, they actually have a good developer team over there. They're like, they're understanding the game. They're not just like listening to people and reacting to it. They're just like actually trying to understand the game, and they went and played it a bunch. Like that's why I think the game is the way it is today. It's super successful, and it's mostly PvP. There's like barely any PvE servers. No one cares.
Right.
It's like one of the most successful hardcore PvP games that's ever existed. And it's like, I think, imagine if you took the Rust world and like that cutthroat world, that's like Pyro. Imagine that being like Pyro.
Yep.
Stanton is like that middle ground where there's like the law enforcement. you committed a crime in the system and now everything's after you until you get out, sort of thing. That's kind of like being a scab in Tarkov and you shot another scab. You know what I mean? Like fucking.
Fence is
So
gonna
that's
hate you,
like,
bro. That's
yeah,
-10
like
fence rep right there.
yeah, for real. You shot Santa, bro.
Yeah,
What the hell's wrong?
you ain't seeing Lightkeeper, bro.
But yeah, so then you go to Terra, and I think this is another big. This is a big part of the conversation. Terra is planned to be a PvE paradise.
Yep.
High sec, no one can touch you. The shit might as well be instance for all intents and purposes. You could go and do a mission, and the chance of someone actually fucking with you is going to be low. And that's by design. And I'm thinking in my head, like, this is great. They have Star Citizen currently has the design that could appeal to everyone because it's not only catering to the most cutthroat PvPers, it's also catering to the most Care Bear PvEers, which I have no issue with them being in the same game as me. It's just I want this theme, this design of a big universe to be utilized in a way that's beneficial for the player base to accommodate all different kinds of play styles. So like me, I come from the opinion that instancing is a waste of time. Everything should be open sandbox. You just need these people just need to wait for Terra because like it's going to be everything they wanted plus more. And again, the universe is so big that anyone who's mining can tell you that if you go to Air and Halo, no one's gonna, mess with you there. You can go mine a bajillion hours in Air and Halo, fly back to a city, refine, sell your shit over and over, whatever. No one's gonna mess with you. You know what I mean? Like, I get catering to the PvEers, but I think what the instancing does is it removes that open sandbox experience. Like, I just don't want them to be doing it in an area like Pyro at like the Worm site or Hathor. Like if they start trying to instance that kind of stuff, it's just like what are you doing? Like just that should be just Area 18, New Babbage, Crusader missions. Little instance crusade. Go over to this platform, take this tram over here. The tram instances your party and then you arrive at an instance platform on Crusader to go do your little mission, right? Like with your co-op group. But it should be low loot, right? Kind of like how Dune did it in a way. And I know they got some controversy, but
Not anymore.
wait, what happened now? Did they reverse
They came
it?
out today, or was it yesterday, Meta?
Yeah, I already tweeted about it a couple
Oh,
times.
you want to talk about it then? Because I've never played, so you might know better than
The
me.
developers are now taking a portion of the deep desert and adding more PvE zones in the deep desert, which is like, because everybody was complaining about the PvP that's happening there, and it's like the whole point of the deep desert was like the wilderness in RuneScape. Like, it's supposed to be where all this fighting happens. You can put a base out there, you can raid bases, you can do all that, but now there's still PvP, don't get me wrong, but they're starting already in Dune to encroach on the PvP zone with more PvE zones because people were complaining about dying and losing their stuff. And it's just like, that's the point. I do, however, think that the issue with Dune is, and I love the game, I've played it a lot already, the whole lead up to the deep desert is PvE for the most part. The first like 40, 50 hours of the game is PvE. So it almost does have like a little bit of an identity crisis because you have these people that are like, oh, this is a cool PvE game. Do all this PvE to get to the PvP spot where all the crazy shit's happening. But now it's just becoming more PvE. And somebody else, I think Detox, he was talking about it on Twitter too, saying the same exact thing. He goes, Dune's having the same issue that Star Citizen's having.
I saw that. Yeah, he's not wrong with anything he's
absolutely.
saying. And there's all these people in these comments who are like, "Oh, well, why do you want to fight unprepared PvEers?" It's like,
don't be unprepared.
you guys are never prepared. What do you mean?
Dude, that's Star Citizen 101 is to always get out of your hangar prepared or you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally you should get punished. I remember when I first started this game, almost 4 years ago. I used to go out in a sperm suit to do like missions or some shit, and I'd be like, "Oh, it'd be like Tarkov. Like, let me just pick a gun off the ground and I'll run a bunker mission because I'm too lazy to go read gear
or something."
Yeah. And then I quickly realized that that's not like a reliable option, right? Or like, let's say I go to Hathor and I'm just there to like. So one of the things I'm doing now is trying to grind all the Wicklow stuff. So like all the armor, all the ships, everything, right? And I go to Hathor and I forget to bring my railgun. And of course, as I'm running like the outside OLP stations, right, I get attacked by a Hornet. I'm like, well, fuck, dude, I got an AO3. Like, I screwed myself because I forgot my own railgun. Right? It's like stuff like that. Like, you should be prepared when you go out in Star Citizen. The game will punish you if you are not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I think all these people, they're gonna have like all these casual options later down the road, all these PvE options where they don't even have to worry about being that prepared. But for some reason, they're taking this experience in Pyro and Stanton and projecting it on like that's like what the whole game's going to be like. And it's like, no, you guys have plenty of shit planned. Like, they literally have talked about making in-game events that that actually align with the lore. And that's like a big part of the game that they want to do with like Terra and all this other stuff. Like, I think one of the planets on Terra is like a gigantic jungle planet with a bunch of fucking crazy shit. It's like, you guys could go explore for hours over there. There's like, I just don't get like what more do these people want? I feel like it's never ending. It's like a never ending appetite for them. They want access to everything the PvPers have access to, but they don't want to have to put the work in for it. And that's kind of where I have a big issue with all this is like, a big fundamental component of PvP games in general is that like you're rewarded when you win.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. There is literally no other part of this formula. Anyone who tries to deter from it is misunderstanding why it exists in the first place. Like, so it doesn't matter whether these people are unprepared or not or whatever. It's like I don't understand why they're trying to encroach on PvP spaces now. Like another thing I'm pretty hyped about with this game, actually, kind of like off topic, but we used to have like only flight stuff before, right? Like it was mainly flight. This whole game, if you were into one of the bigger PvP organizations or really into PvP in this game, you had to be the best flight person, right? Like that was what a lot of it centered around. With the addition of like contested zones, Hathor, this worm location, the weather. They said in previous ISCs, by the way, that they want this weather thing to be a prevention for ships. Like this is like intentionally designed this way, where like the distortion storms or like lightning storms will shut ships off, and it incentivizes the use of ground vehicles in FPS gameplay. I'm like, oh, that's great, good, more of that.
Yes.
Like this whole game has shifted in the last year towards FPS content in such a heavy way. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, I hope they keep it up. Honestly, there's enough ship.
100%.
Give us more.
Yeah, yeah. And for me personally, like the whole PvE PvP thing, I do find it kind of at least ironic in my brain because I suck at ship combat. I don't have sticks. I have my peripherals are all set for FPS gameplay. I got a glass mouse pad. I got a 28-gram mouse. I got a Hall effect keyboard. I'm FPS. I cannot fly a ship. And I know I suck at flying ships. So you know what I don't do? Fly ships. It's that simple. Like if we're going into Hathor, I have another guy at my work who's really good at flying. Hey, you fly. I'll just stay in the gunner seat because I know I'm not good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know you're not good at PvP,
exactly.
Yeah, like I know I'm bad at ship combat, but I know I'm really good at FPS combat. So I avoid the ship combat and just do what I'm really good at. So like if you're a PvEer and you're like, oh dude, like, yeah, I would like an executive hangar ship. Okay. Like you buy it on UEX then. You're good at making money. Go mine. Like there's different solutions to that, right?
Right.
Or like Wicklow and out. Wicklow has every ship in the catalog pretty much at this point. They keep on adding it every patch.
Yep.
Just go.
F8,
you can just
F7A,
yeah.
Zeus.
Yeah.
Already an MX now, I think too.
Yeah, you have other options. You don't need what we do. What we have, you don't need. Right? I had a bunch of people on on my most recent TikTok, I did like a breakdown of the ICTGO, right? And people were like, "Oh, I can't buy this."
Yeah, I
There's
saw that.
another dude. Meta. How funny was?
I have to grind for this in game.
The one guy
there
was
were people, dude. No, hold on. Have you Meta tell him because I could not believe when I read every comment, by the way, and I know we're all content creators, so we get it, right? Like the comment sections in Star Citizen are the worst thing in the world, but like, dude, I was reading some of these comments on this video, and I was like, are we in the same universe? He's like, I had one guy who was like, dude, I melted $400 in store credit to go buy this thing. And I was like, what do you mean?
What do you mean, bro?
And he was like complaining you could buy it at the store. I was like, brother, like, this is good. You should be celebrating this.
Yeah, like you have to go in the game and do something to get it as a reward.
Imagine that.
Like,
they don't sell something for marketing.
shit.
So-
Imagine that.
That's another
Dude,
thing
it's-
too. Prior to 4.0, there was no in-game earnable content. And now you can get armor, weapons, ships. I mean, everything.
I love my
Right.
Enduro
Yeah,
armor,
it's
dude. I love
changed.
it.
I agree. There was actually, you make a good point. There was like a period during 4.0 and they were transitioning where there was a lot of pay to win stuff for a little bit. Like the F7AM K2 came out, was super OP. You could only get it. And some people were like, "Oh, that's not pay to win though, because you technically had to grind for it." I'm like, "But shut up, like
IRL,
up.
brother.
You had to
Like, pick up an
a
extra shift."
But you had to buy a Hornet to get the F7A.
Yeah,
You had to pay $175 to get the. I'm like, guys, you're still paying for it, and then you're grinding for it. I was like, this is what are you? Like,
They double
anyways,
dipping you, bro.
fucking-
They hitting you on both
Yeah.
sides
No,
now,
for
dog.
sure.
It was crazy.
You had that. You had the Atlas. The F8, I argue, wasn't actually pay to win. It was good, but it wasn't like other ships at the time could do circles around it. I'll put it that way. It was good when it first released, but it wasn't as good as the best ships at that time. But they did have a good string of like this pay to win little stretch. The Geo wasn't in game when Hathor came out.
Yeah.
Oh, you
That
want to
was
mine your
bad.
Karenite easy? All right,
Yeah.
then I gotta buy a Geo.
Spend
Hey,
$40,
hey,
baby. We got your
hey.
solution.
I bought one. I did. I bought one.
I bought one.
too.
I'm not gonna lie. I bought one.
I was
You know, we
no.
got, but we're different. I had see. This is copium, but my excuse is, dude, I create content. I gotta buy it.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta make a
Oh,
video
hell
on
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
You know, I gotta
yeah,
make a
yeah,
video
yeah.
on it. I gotta make a couple TikToks on this
Yeah,
thing. I gotta
yeah.
buy it.
Dude, okay, on that note, who bought all the Volt packs?
I hate the gun, so I don't.
Oh
I
my
didn't buy
God,
any.
I
I didn't
bought
buy 'em.
everyone.
Oh no!
Okay,
I get
wait, before you make fun of me, just like in Valorant, right? I was telling. Okay,
Dude.
so that first Immortal 3 account I had, I was going on vacation one year, and I was like, I'm done with Valorant. So I put that account up on G2G. Not exactly kosher, but whatever. I just wanted.
What are you gonna do?
I was done with the
Whatever.
game. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, whatever.
Mhm.
So like,
Return on
I got a
investment.
bunch of money from that, and that account when I sold it had like 1.7K in skins, and then my new account that I got after I sold that one has like 1.5K now, 1.4.
Meta, you're shaking your head, but you have no idea, dude. You have no idea. It is
That's nothing
unbelievable.
compared to some
Hold on,
other
dude.
people.
I got some buddies that play
dude,
it, so I've heard a little bit about the skin game and shit, and I'm just
their store is so gotcha. I'll quickly show you, and for the viewers, because
Valorant
I'm
one?
sure most of them don't. Yeah,
The
because I'm
night
sure most of them
market?
don't. Yes,
Oh, man.
yes. Night market's still live, by the way. Oh, the update's on, but okay, I'll show you guys after. But it is. The skins are really cool, Meta, and some of them, like, they are so good. You think Star Citizen's good with their marketing, and they are. But Riot is way better. They have this like gotcha store system where there's only like, I don't know, like
Once every
4
24
5
hours.
skins. Every
Uh-huh.
24 hours, there's 4 skins or 5 skins. And I've been waiting for Prelude to Chaos, which is this one Vandal skin that I've wanted for like probably close to like 2.5 years now. And it has never come in my store. And you're fucking
Oh
right.
my
I'm
God.
dropping $25 as soon as it gets in my store. You know what the worst
Just 'cause
part
of
is?
the
2 days
anticipation.
ago, I spent $15 on another Vandal skin. And a week after that, I spent another $25 on a
Yeah, but
Vandal skin.
those are Vandal skins in between the time before you get
Exactly.
the Vandal skin you want.
Exactly.
So it's okay.
And then you have
Those
to
are
rotate
acceptable.
because they're also pay to win. You think Star Citizen's pay to win? Wait till you see the skins in Val. They're pay to win because they have different like sounds on them, which like they say it's not pay to win, but I swear to God, it reduces recoil, and everyone will tell you. So
Yeah.
it's
It
insane.
gives you it's the new skin tech,
So-
dude.
Yeah,
you get
new
the new
skin.
skin. You're
Yeah,
just
the new technologies.
You know when that started was that
Oh,
fucking
man.
the dragon vandal, the
Oh,
elder
dude.
born
The
one.
Elder Flame?
When that thing came out, everyone was just like, yo, that thing looks kind of ugly. But then people were shooting it and they're like,
You're like,
dude, when
"Oh,
you
shit,
shoot
bro,
it,
I'm
it looks
cracked."
so clean.
Yeah.
And this shit got so popular.
It
I was
is.
like, oh man, I was like, that thing's ugly. And then I picked one up off of someone. I'm like, oh man, I love the Elder Flame. I'm like, holy shit, I fucking bought the whole pack. I spent $100 like just because I
Yeah.
picked it up in game from someone else who had it and shot it. I was
Hey,
like,
listen,
oh,
bro.
what a
I have
fucking
I have all the
marketing
I have all the
Gambling.
champions skins other than
Gambling.
2021, which I'm so pissed about. The
Oh,
Vandal
man.
from 21.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They are-
missed out on it as well.
Yeah, fuck, dude. I thought you had it on your OG account.
Uh,
Yeah.
On that note, though, I do like a lot of these Star Citizen skins that they're doing, and that's why I started
yeah.
buying them. Like, I actually, the fucking Prism shotgun set that came out, that skin's ugly as fuck, but I wanted to try out the shotgun.
Right.
The coolest, they got this one skin called like Bone Dust, and it's like,
Here, Meta, look
You're-
at the here's what the store looks like. Sorry to interrupt, but
oh, go ahead.
Is it
Just to
from
show everyone
them
what the
like
store looks
itself, or
like.
is it like third party?
once Val loads.
Like, is it from Riot or whatever?
All right, it's
Yeah.
not loading.
Like, it's
Whatever.
from-
We'll
It's
go
the
back.
only
To,
way-
we'll go back
it's
to
the
it.
only
We'll go
way
back
you
to it
can get
later. We'll go back to it later.
But yeah, they've been doing a lot, but like CIG has been doing a lot better job with their skins in the last year. I have seen way more skins that I enjoy. In the last, dude, I've spent so much money on fucking cosmetics alone in
Mhm.
Star Citizen in the last year. Like I was like,
That's
I
the
wanted
way
to
out,
buy like
baby.
a cap ship, and then someone, I found out that they're probably going to make it available to get in game sooner than later. I'm like, oh, I don't need a Polaris then, and then they fucking nerfed the Deadfire torpedo, but that's a
Yep.
different story.
Yep.
But fucking the Polaris is still useful to have, but it's like, I instead of spending money on like a bunch of ships, I started buying fucking gun skins, fucking. But yeah, that like I was saying that Bone Dust skin that they have, like it's like an iridescent. It literally changes
Yes.
colors like in different lighting, and stuff. It's really really cool. They've been doing a lot more of that kind of stuff, and I think like
the Valhalla skin on the Asgard is, I think, my favorite ship
Yes.
skin in the game. I like the Idris skins are really good. The Valhalla skin I like a lot. The honestly the best ones are the alien ship ones, like the new.
yes,
I don't.
the
I-
Sulian skins and all
Yes,
that
the
shit. Those were
Sulian
so
skins are
cool
sick.
looking.
If only
Sulian
the
just-
Sulin was good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Dude, I only get those from executive hangers. Look, Meta can attest. Every
Yeah.
single poll, I get a Sulian, and if I don't get a Sulian, I get an F8. But when I try to bring it up the elevator, it glitches, so I never get it. Or it disappears patch to patch.
Oh my god.
I'm done with executive hangers for now. Not really, because they're dropping double loot these days. But yeah, but for me, I think that's their way out, right? That's their way out of selling ships. Like my vision, right? I think Salty Mike says this all the time, and he's low key right. Is the vision to get out of selling ships because that's just not going to be palpable for a fully released game. That's just not okay. That I can go and buy a $1,500 Idris. It's just not.
It's supposed to just be to fund the game, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The whole
beyond,
point of it
yeah.
right now.
But once 1.0 comes out, it better be just skins and like gun skins and just skins alone, and maybe like base skins, like little like trinkets you can put in your base, like shit like you get from like being a subscriber.
Right.
That's their way out for
Oh,
me.
dude.
And if they don't take that opportunity, I'm punching a hole in the wall because
It's not just skins. They're gonna sell posters. Like
good.
it's
Sell 'em.
gonna be. I think
Decorations.
Sell 'em.
decorations. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be skins, decorations. Squadron 42 copies are gonna be like
Done.
a huge source of income when 1.0 comes out.
As
for
long
sure.
as they don't sell ships, I could give a shit what they sell. Just fucking sell it. Just never sell another ship ever again. That's
So,
my thing.
Didn't they, with the whole ship thing, It's my understanding that they're still gonna let you buy ships, but you only get like the first tier of it. Later on, when crafting is a thing, you'll get like the base version, and you'll have to craft the better version, or whatever.
I think I'm hoping that's what everyone has to do because right now I think it is kind of cheesy that like, let's say 1.0 hits and you just have an Idris.
Right.
Like you could just spawn an Idris. It's like, is that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of
As
like
an
a huge
Idris
issue I
owner,
have with the economy in this game. Like, how are they going to make any meaningful economy when the biggest AUEC sinks you can buy on the pledge store? Like, that's
Right.
supposed to be quote unquote end game content, is like acquiring a capital ship.
Yep.
So, like, I'm hoping that that's the case for. I'm really quick to stop this thought. I don't, as much as I'd love to see them stop selling ships, I think like basically based on what we already know, they will definitely still be selling ships past 1.0.
That's what I think.
They
I'm
have
gonna
a lot
throw
of
up.
ships in the pipeline that are not going to be done anywhere near in time before 1.0 for there to be a major sale for them. Like if
Banu
1.0,
Merchant Man.
yeah, I mean if Squadron 42 is coming out 2026. I'm assuming 1.0 is whatever we have at that time. That's 1.0.
Right.
I think we're going to be missing a lot of ships when that time comes, and I think they're still going to want to sell those ships when it's some sort of sale or release, and it does suck. I hope they do switch, like you were saying, meta, like a craft, like you can only craft it. It doesn't mean you could just spawn that ship right then and there. It just
Right.
means you
Yeah,
have the
Maybe
blueprint only.
I was gonna say
blueprints.
Yep,
maybe
exactly.
like a low
Exactly.
tiered or a basic tiered common, right? We'll go with a common tiered blueprint, and then you can build the common version of the ship. But I still think you need to go out and get because I think they said it at CitizenCon that you're gonna go out, you're gonna do these missions, and you're gonna get better tiered blueprints for ship parts and everything, and then build your ships out of better materials, better components. So yeah, you might have the pledged F7 Super Hornet, but if somebody grinded and they have like I'm gonna go with a tier 5, you know what I mean? That thing's gonna whoop the tier 1's butt.
Whoop that ass.
Yeah, exactly. So and
Or like
again,
my P, they said the same thing with the P, where you can put the railgun
hmm
on the P.
so
Right.
and I'm familiar with it because that's how Arc was. Is you couldn't buy anything in that game. Everything was through blueprints. You had to go fight bosses, hit loot boxes, find blueprints, and then eventually you'd want a whole like set of really good durability flak blueprints, which is the primary armor that you would run. Then you'd want like a good Fabby or whatever, but you'd have to get the good blueprint in order to be comp, because you can go out there in the primitive stuff, which is the common, but you'd get slapped up. So I like that, but obviously the higher tiered stuff takes a lot more resources and specific resources too.
Yeah, and again, I think, like there's a lot of issues with that system or perceived issues like,
Hmm.
oh, well, but I'm forced to fight the guys with the good blueprints when I only have the shit ones. And it's like,
Yep.
Star Citizen, I genuinely feel like the amount of space that we're given to do stuff in solves all of these problems.
Yep.
Like this guy is no longer forced to fight some high tier PvPer with his primitive blueprints. He can go in his own area, fight other primitive blueprint people, and get out of there with like a better footing, and then start working his way into the PvP stuff. And I think like you know that's kind of where Dune I feel like is short, right? Because it's like one planet. There's like a lot of server based stuff. This whole deep desert PVE split.
Right.
It's not like there's an equivalent amount of content in the PvP area as the PvE area, and I think that's like what you were saying earlier, Chip. Like the with the whole like we get all these PvP events, but where's the PvE kind of balance? I think we're never really going to get that balance for a while. And I think Terra is the last one for
Yeah.
1.0. Rounding back to this 1.0 conversation, I
Yeah.
think that's like the thing that I'm kind of worried about them not having with 1.0, because that's like the most important system for them to have for 1.0. I don't even care about Magnus or what's the other one? Nyx.
Nyx. But Nyx is supposed to be a little dirty too, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and that's another thing. These other two systems aren't necessarily safe systems. Like Castra, for example, is like a huge military base, right? This is kind of like the system where you might see the what is it? The aliens. What are they called? I can't remember the name.
Meta knows. He's a lore
Vandal,
master.
Right?
Vandal. Yeah. That's I think it's like the frontier for Vandal space over there or something. So like these PvE people and that balance, we're really not going to see it. I think that's something that I'm worried about for 1.0 for sure. No Terra is going to be a huge killer for a lot of these casual people. They're going to cry and they're going to change this game into more softcore than it already is. And
just give them a raid. That's what I say. Just honestly, at this point, here's my solution: poach Bungie employees, because Bungie's pretty much dead at this point. Poach some of those guys off of Destiny, off the raid guys off of Destiny, and go create a raid. You probably only need 1 or 2 guys just to like get your like mindset of like, okay, here's how we built the raid, here's how we did this, here's how we do that. And honestly, for me, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think we would all agree that having a raid with raid mechanics, difficult like ad content, like difficult like mechanics in a boss fight that requires high skill, I think it'd be fun for us too. I would enjoy that.
I would too.
I would
was
enjoy
a
that.
huge Destiny player. I love Destiny.
How fun was it during the week? You would split between PvE and PvP, right? During the week, 4 days, you would do all your rating for the week, right? I need this for this gun so I can go on the weekend, the 3 days on the weekend, to go and run trials. But this trials gun I need from this raid. Or vice versa, right? You would get like, oh, in the best exotic or whatever. This isn't, but let's just say hypothetically, this exotic drops from this trials chest, right? The flawless trials chest. Now I need that to have the most DPS in my parses on one of the raid bosses. I think that's really cool, right? You can connect the two. The PvE doesn't have to do PvP or vice versa, but they can enjoy the content together if they so desire. And that would be my kind of thing.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the Destiny stuff is like you were saying, it's like these cool mechanics to go and unlock. You know, like there's like some symbol and you have to go work on this thing while you're fighting the boss and he's doing this attack and you have to know what attack. Like, can you imagine if like the worm in the Lazarus complex breaks out of the ground, and in order for you to maintain like the integrity of the facility, you have to have someone like adjusting the levels at some cooling plant at the or stuff like that.
Yeah,
like while the worm's up, like some more puzzle mechanics, more stuff like that. While you're
just copy Last Wish. Just copy Last Wish. If anyone who's played Destiny has done a Last Wish raid, there was an encounter there. Actually, it was throughout the whole encounter, but there was one specific encounter that has symbols, and you had to memorize the symbols, and you would
literally what I'm referencing. By
exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah, 100%. Like, how cool would that be?
It would be dope.
That would be great. I mean, we have some of that kind of stuff. Like, if you want to get in this loot room at the Lazarus complex, you got to zoom in on the periodic table and read the top 2 numbers, and enter it in the keypad and stuff like that. But it's like, they need a lot more of these puzzle mechanics in the game, and I'm happy to see that they're adding a lot more of it. Like this, we all focus on like, oh, the worm. This whole patch is the worm. It's like, yeah, but you know what? They actually added a cool door mechanic. Like you get scanned to get in a door. You have to wear a certain uniform to get in a door now. I was like, where did that? I was like, that's new. That's fucking sick. It's like more of the puzzle gameplay that I think a lot of people are kind of looking for. A lot of people do give CIG shit for using the word sandbox activity when referring to the worm and all this other stuff. But I do think that those are sandbox activities, and a lot of people
100%.
don't look at the game as like if you were just playing the game and you were like flying to Pyro 1 as an explorer. And here's another thing: is it exploration content? Not for us. We play the game every day. Right when it's released, I'm fucking there.
Yep.
But for the person who just starts playing today, they are going to start in Stanton on New Babbage. They're going to do some missions, find out, oh my God, there's a whole nother star system. They're going to go to Pyro, be like, what the fuck's going on over here?
Yeah.
And they're going to explore Pyro 1 and see what the fuck are these crazy facilities. And they're going to be like, I need some key card from the Pharaoh Research Facility.
Yep.
Where's the Pharaoh Research Facility? Oh, it's on Pyro 4. Let's go to Pyro 4 to a Pharaoh Research Facility. Let's figure out how to get the... Like, that is sick. I actually think that's all great. Like, all of
and
these,
how beautiful
is
Pyro
Sandbox.
4 is.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, man.
Like,
amazing.
Gorgeous.
My bread and butter on TikTok is doing, like, environmental edits, right? And I've never been to Pyro 4. Ever. And then in the PTU, I go there to, like, you know, do this whole event and everything. And I'm like, brother, like... has this been like this the whole entire time? Like, I get they put in the new weather tech, but like, this place is fucking paradise, bro, and I've never even been here. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, you're like taking screenshots the second you get
I
there.
am,
like, dude. Wow,
that's my bread and butter. We were coming off one of the Pharaoh facilities the other day, and I felt like I was on Tatooine. Like, I saw all the other planets in that little like mini system there with like Pyro 4 and everything.
Line, you see the big line of moons, dude.
And I was like, bro, this is so cool. Like, this is awesome. And this was all from like exploration. Like, I would have never done that. I would have never done that. Would have never had that experience. I would have never had that footage of me doing that. And it was like, I even said on stream, I was like, bro, like, am I in Tatooine? Like, I feel like a kid when I play this game a lot of times. And I feel like CIG, or the community doesn't give CIG enough credit on that. Whether it be bringing up a new ship you just earned, doing what we just described, killing the worm for the first time, Meta. Like we had, like, how cool was that when we did that first time and we were like, dude, this is amazing. This is awesome.
It was just,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I remember when we first got there, and then Griffin got downed at the front, and I'm guarding you while you're running the egg. So I'm ad clearing, you're running the egg, and then I don't know if you went down, but Griffin went down to the front. I had to run and get him, and then as I'm running back, I go into F4 mode, because I'm always trying to clip shit, right? So I go into F4
As
mode.
TikTokers do.
I'm running down this path, and I think I posted the video of it, but I'm running down this path, dude, and then behind me, I move the camera, you could see the worm, you could see you over here, you could see 2 dead teammates here, you have 2 other guys sitting here with F-55 LMGs just spraying in the sky as I'm running back with a med gun trying to pick everybody up from dying. It was just so dope. It was so cool to see it like that, because it looked like a movie. It straight up looked like a movie when I was running back, you know, to a little bit safer.
And that's normal gameplay.
And that's
normal.
Just
normal
that happens,
Star Citizen
it happens
gameplay.
all the time.
Yeah,
we're spoiled.
That's every day.
We
are spoiled. We forget. We talk shit. I mean, we've talked shit out here, but we really are spoiled. I mean, that's why we talk shit, though, right? Like, and I feel like a lot of people, especially outside the community, like, they're like, "Oh, dude, these salty Star Citizen content creators and players and everything on Reddit and everything." I'm like, brother, no, listen, you just don't understand. When you have it, we see the potential. We see it. It's so tangible, especially now, right? Every patch, it gets more tangible and more tangible and more tangible. And all you want to do is just like, I want that. Yeah. And I want it to be good. So this is why we're doing it. This is why I want to do this podcast about PvP, right? Get different ideas going, mix them around, because there's not really like a whole lot of, I feel like we're an underrepresented community, honestly, in the global Star Citizen thing, because we're such a small percentage of actual players that do this all day, every day, right? So, like,
I think we're dude, I think stuff like what you're doing with this, some other like Griefers Pub has their own thing, or they did. I don't know. I think they're not going anymore, but
right.
You know, anything PvP centered that has made an impact in the last year, I think it's huge, because there is, I love CIG, a lot of what they do with the game, but the reality is this game is not. It has a really hard time attracting a PvP crowd, and I don't think it's because of the game design. I think it's specifically because of the game performance. Like, I genuinely feel like if the game ran better, you would see people from a million different video games come and play Star Citizen. Like, it's hard for people to get into it when it's buggy.
that Shroud clip killed what you just said. Killed this game. When he tried it, what was it, like a couple, like what, 6, 7, 8 months ago, whenever it was, and he like kind of low key shit on it, and it killed it for like, because people who watch Shroud, right, are mostly
Right.
like
PvP
us,
crowd.
yeah,
Yeah,
PvP
yeah.
crowd,
PvP
right?
guys.
Like, and I think that clip did a lot of harm to our type of players that we would want to see more into the game, right?
Yeah.
And it is, I've said this before, and I've said this a lot, but I think the skill gap in Star Citizen 2 is so wide. The disparity between the 99% to the 1% is unbelievable, right? Like, there is, your just average player is looking at the ground when they're doing any FPS content.
Yeah,
And
or
then,
someone who does cargo for a living
Yep.
is doing cargo in an. I swear to God, I did a guide thing with someone one time, and I'm trying to explain to them how cargo works. And there's some other, his friend was there with a dude. It was so weird. And then his friend saying how he does cargo moving all the time, and he's like moving cargo in these inefficient ways and like not snapping him. I'm like, dude. I'm like, no, 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 do it this way. It's like even the people in this game who do nothing but the PvE, like salvaging and cargo and mining, you could go out there within a day and figure out how to do it better than them.
Right.
It's not like they're doing anything crazy. There's some, I'll give some credit. There's some like really crazy mining operations. I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of these groups. Like they'll go out as like a 20 man with like a fucking 2, 3 moles
Yep.
and a C2, and they'll just like constantly replace the bags on the moles and place them in the C2. And once the C2 fills up, they take it to a refinery,
Yep.
depot all of it, rinse, repeat, and they make millions, hundreds of millions.
yeah.
It's super, dude. It's crazy. Like,
Well, there's a skill
that
gap
stuff is
there
cool.
too. Like all right, funny anecdotal story. But when Hathor started, I've never mined before ever in my life, and so I get into a geo the first time, and I go into the hole, and I blew up at least 10 rocks in a row before I was like, oh, like I have to change the laser thing because I've never done it before. I've never done that gameplay loop. So like they could say the same thing about me that I'm saying about them, right? Like there's definitely like skill gaps like in every single gameplay loop. But
You figured it out quick though. It wasn't.
I mean, I
it's not
did, but like the point is, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
I think you are right though. The reality of this game, and this is kind of a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow, is it was never performing well enough to attract PvPers. Like your PvPers need consistency and
Yep.
performance. Like they don't mind losing, but the game can't be buggy. If they lose to bugs, they don't want to deal with it. They lose to themselves, they're willing to accept it. But like they're not going to take a chance on a loss to a bug. That's why they don't play Star Citizen. So like I think, when these PvE people go out in the middle of nowhere and there's no one around and the game runs fine for them, it's a lot easier for them to digest that game versus getting like Shroud into it and he sees ships teleporting, players teleporting, things jittering around, like the
A little pebble
they
on
were
the
at a
ground
distribution center and
makes
like,
you do this with the gun. You can't aim.
yeah, he's like shooting through invincible AI that are just doing damage to him, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And like, I know a lot of people aren't happy with what Shroud did. I think that it was like a wake up call for CIG
100%.
because and I don't think they really knew how bad the game ran. I think that they genuinely log on and might do some of that PvE stuff, like I was saying. But if you go and do anything complex with a remote amount of complexity, the game starts to buckle and break, and it's like it shouldn't have taken Shroud to come in and roast the game for them to have that wake up call. But it was a wake up call because I saw comments in discords by developers like, about it and stuff like that. I think that it became a commonly accepted opinion that the game has major issues it needs to be addressed, which was a huge benefit. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just, it was really hard. There were a lot of people prior to Shroud who were complaining about the performance of the game, and it kind of felt like CIG was turning a blind eye to it. But once that Shroud thing happened, it became an
became your
actual topic of
playability.
conversation. Yeah, I mean, look, that's not even a joke. 2024
No, I'm not.
Shroud
Yeah,
roast the game.
yeah.
Next game, your playability, and
It was
does
needed
feel a lot-
anyway, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they are
absolutely.
getting financial returns from it, which is like ironic to hear. Not ironic, but it's interesting to hear. Like in the beginning of the year, where Jared was talking about like, oh shit, this decision is very scary because how is funding going to go? And then 6 months, 7 months later, and it's the most funding this game has ever seen ever, at a pace that is almost insane to think about. If you think about it, like in a global like game development, like how much money they're receiving month over month, day over day. And it just makes me curious to see, well, if they did this like 2 years ago, like where would we be today?
Right.
I don't think they were willing to do it 2 years ago because of how many systems weren't in the game yet.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's kind of the big part of all this is so many things were in development for so long that they're just kind of waiting for all those things to get in before they started fixing bugs, which that's fine. It just sucks that someone like Shroud had to come in before then.
Right.
I don't think it helps. I'll put it this way. I've had the opportunity to bring in some pretty big content creators, and it's not like a brag. It's like
Humble
they
brag.
have Discords. It's public. You could go in a content creator's Discord and they'll ask their own chat about a game.
Yep.
I've talked with a few of them personally about Star Citizen, and I was not willing to lie about the reality of the game to them. And I know some people might, and I don't know if you watch like the Shroud and Summit streams. I think Summit hyped it up a little bit to Shroud. He was hyped on the game at the time. Summit played for like a month, and it was good. He was tucking on ships, doing a bunch of stuff, like meeting a bunch of people in the community, and that was healthy for the game. But he stopped playing because of how buggy it was.
Yep.
He said it was a great game idea, great design, couldn't stand how buggy it was. Really did enjoy it. And I think that's something that does happen pretty often is a lot of people kind of get hyped up and they get this vision that the game is quote unquote playable now. But that's why I went and told my friends this year when I was getting it, and I'm like, dude, it's buggy. Be careful. And then, of course, they didn't run into any bugs like I was saying. Yeah, I think like if Shroud came back now, it might be a little bit better, but if we're looking for like that PvP standard, like that you want to get a big PvP crowd into this game, because again, I don't think the PvE crowd in this game, the player base, has anything to do with the game design. It's purely on what the game was able to give to people in a reliable and enjoyable manner. To all those
100%.
PvE people, all the lore people, they're all getting their shit all the time, but to the PvPers, it's like, where's the love? I can't PvP if the game's buggy. It's not fun. RNG is not fun. I want to win based on skill.
Yep.
That's not
FPS
bugs,
PvPers only had Arena Commander up until Executive Hangars.
Pretty much. I mean, you could do.
I had nothing to do.
I will say Ghost Hollow in 3.19 was
fun.
Was cool. The only issue again,
I took my break.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I loved Ghost Hollow to death. I will cherish those times. But when I watch those clips back, it is so freaking laggy. It is so bad. I remember I made videos back then, and I remember like talking with my buddy Eno. I'm like, bro, I have like 1,000 clips, but I can only use like 50 of them because all 950 are like crazy lag. Like I shoot the dude and he teleports, and then his body's like in Timbuktu, and I go to loot him and there's more bugs. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to put that in the video. That looked terrible. Like it's like it was so bad. Like the FPS gameplay, it was cool, it was fun, but you're right. The only reliable way to really express yourself for FPS was Arena Commander, and then Executive Hangars came, Hathor, the OLPs, the ground stuff, the worm.
Now I'm spoiled. We're spoiled now. Yeah, now I'm spoiled.
And capship gameplay.
Yeah,
I've boarded so many Idrises, dude.
Yes,
and killed them.
Yes.
That has been some of the most fun in this game, hands down, is boarding a cap ship and
Mhm.
taking it over from a group. So that's also a big FPS win from CIG. I was happy to see that.
That's my favorite thing to do. I can't wait for the Anvil Legionnaire, so I could
Oh,
forcefully
it's gonna
board
be
people's
crazy.
ships. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I can't fly, so I'll just be the breacher.
I can't.
You don't want me in a pilot seat. I'm telling you right now.
I'm alright.
You will see it eventually. I will fly on stream, and you will see how bad I am, and you'll be like, "All right, I get it. I get it now." I'm realistically not that bad. I'm just not as good as I am. Like,
Yeah, no, I know you're beating yourself up. I would say there has never been a better time to get in a flight in this game. Like it is. If
I
you
get
wanna,
it. It's just not my thing, dude. It's just not. It
it's
doesn't
whatever.
give me the same enjoyment as.
Oh man,
Oh no,
it can. It can.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
telling you.
Here's my Hotas, bro.
Listen,
Here's
I
my
was
Hotas
just like
stuff.
you. I was like you when I first started Star Citizen. Like I've had an account since 2014. I've been playing
damn,
on
an
and off for a
OG.
long fucking time. But
Mhm.
my original thing was I just want to FPS everything. I was like into all FPS games at the time, whatever, didn't care. But then like I started like kind of just like flying ships around and I'm like, well, I am flying them around, might as well like fly the best one, right? And then it
Right.
was like, okay, well, I'm playing the meta now. And it's like, well, now I'm flying this thing around more often and I'm getting used to it. And I'm just like, I could do both. I'm like, why was I saying that the whole time? I was like, I could do both. I started like beating people in flight and doing like, I lost a lot, of course, in the beginning, but um it does give you, I think it can 100% give you that same rush. And I would highly recommend looking at the game like from the standpoint like you could do anything you set your mind to. Because I think the most fun way, like this is kind of the philosophy we have in the Orgaimen is like the most fun way to play the game is yes, there's roles and stuff, but being able to be flexible is really, really important because you don't want to lock yourself out of some cool content. Like if you're able to fly stuff, but like, your buddy isn't, it'd be nice if your buddy could just fly stuff with you and you both go fly around and there's so much more you can
Yeah.
do with if you don't lock yourself out from flight. Like I just would highly encourage getting into flight in any way, shape, or form because it's a lot of fun. I think you would eventually. You're gonna soft death some fucking hornet in a 1v1 fight, and some other hornet's gonna come at you, dude, and you're gonna be like dodging it, and then you're gonna fight it and kill that one. And you're gonna be like, holy fuck, I just 1v2'd. You're like, dude, that was lit.
Get shit on,
it
dude.
all looks so good too.
Yeah.
Like it's a rush. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is 100% worth getting into, especially if you have the FPS part of the game down. I tell everyone who's into FPS, who gets into Star Citizen, you already know FPS stuff. You might as well work on your weakness while you're here. It's like
you're right.
If flight isn't your thing,
yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, especially if I do want to be like this fully well-rounded like PvP guy, like I'm not just gonna be on the ground the whole entire time. Like that's just not a reality in Star Citizen, to be honest, right? Like I have to get into the Hathor facility somehow. If there wasn't 25 million Pharaoh centers, I would have to get into a Pharaoh center somehow, right? So like you're 100% right, and it would be fun for me. Yeah, I don't really have a retort. Like, yeah, I should definitely learn how to do it. I am realistically though, I am good at flying cap ships and like smaller, like medium ships, like multi-cruise ships. I am generally like pretty good at that stuff, which I guess isn't really all that hard. But like flying.
Oh no, it is. I actually think there is skill in that. It's
Absolutely.
a huge fucking.
See, I don't even.
It's a gigantic thing, man. You got to get the momentum and timings right too. It's just like everything else.
Except I almost killed Mia Meta with $70 million of stuff. Game my Idris, but that's neither here nor
You
there.
also gotta, because if you're running a crude Idris, you also got to account for making sure the target is still in view for your gunners too. There's definitely skill involved. But yeah, dude, we loaded the Idris with probably 70 mil worth of stuff from the worm.
Yeah, all the worm shit I was gonna hand in for Wicklow.
And he almost ghost rode the whip into an asteroid, bro. I was like, oh no!
It came out of nowhere. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Honestly, it proves the skill that I have as a capship pilot to avoid that asteroid that I almost got ourselves into.
I was
like,
looking
that's
out the
supreme
window,
skill.
and I just see this big asteroid pass by the bridge of the Idris because I was sitting in the co-pilot seat, and I was just like, "Oh, oh,
Yeah, that's
all right."
what it looks
That's
like. Like
good.
if the
Yeah.
Titanic, if the Titanic survived, if the captain could avoid the
Hey, man,
iceberg,
that's how skilled I am.
ship's
Yeah,
getting black
exactly.
right
I'm
there.
better than the Titanic captain. That's for sure.
Yeah, facts.
That's facts, bro.
I don't
People
know.
hating, but
Icebergs
that's the
on my
reality.
watch.
I feel like I was a pretty killer pilot pre-master modes. I think I'm okay now. I can hold my own. I win most fights. But pre-master modes, I felt like I was a demon. You know what I mean? Just because you could go so fast and just corkscrew and merge so well at such high speeds, and most people didn't really know how to do that. So you could just outgun and outmaneuver everybody. But
Yeah,
I think it's a lot harder to hit it like an actual 1v2 or a 1v3 right now because you're locked to those speeds. If there's 3 of them, you're probably cooked because you can't
Yeah.
really disengage, and one of them's going to keep shooting at you. The other one's going to throw missiles on. You know what I mean? I was a big fan pre-master modes. Not that I hate master modes. I think it's cool, and I think it made fighting a lot easier for a lot of people. But I think it lowered the skill ceiling when they
Oh,
introduced
for sure.
master modes.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before I was taking on, I was able to hit a 1v3, 1v4 regularly. Now, if there's 2 of them, it's
It gets rough.
It's
Yeah,
good.
there's a
If
lot
I
of
win-
I can still do that
if I
in
win,
contested
I have
zones.
to
Is
go
all
to a
I'm saying.
station. If I win, I have to go to a station to repair because there's no
Yeah.
way I'm flying this thing around after fighting 2 people.
What I've been doing to really minimize like getting ganged up on is I like to fly a lot of stealth ships, and that does tend to help big time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Hornet Ghost MK2
Yep.
is really effective for that kind of stuff. Like stealth inserts. You could get your EM and cross section down to like 1.5 to the nose.
Yep.
And you could just kind of like glide down to a location. Like that's what I've been doing at these Lazarus locations. Like we all spread out. There's like 4 of us in a channel, 5 of us in a channel. We'll all spread out to a bunch of different locations, and we'll take like stealth ships and just kind of like stealth insert and get on the shuttle, see if a worm's going. But like sometimes we'll get there and there's like 2 Idrises patrolling in the air, and it's like you got to go low to the ground from the side and kind of like glide, like low fly into the facility so the Idrises in the air don't see you. It's actually kind of lit. Like
It's so fun.
I think,
See, that's cool.
yeah.
I
I
remember
think
doing.
utilizing that stuff is really important in the game right now. It helps you not get targeted by big groups of people too and shit. It's or missiles. Getting
Hell
hit
yeah.
by missiles sucks right now.
Mhm.
So
I was doing
yeah.
that at Hathor a lot, just kind of sneaking in. You can see everybody above you. I'm in my Saber Comet, and I would try to
Oh
sneak
yeah.
into the hole because hopefully there's a group there mining, and I'll just kill them and I'll take all the stuff before they even know I'm there. And I was able to do that twice. And I actually did it because of, I think it's Grease. He's a big PvP Star Citizen guy.
Yeah.
Grease. I watched his video, and that's what got me to start doing it. I was like, shit, I'm going to go buy me a stealth ship. And I started stealth inserting into the hole over there. And it's just cool because people are just flying by you. Even if there's a whole org there, if they're not paying attention, like your EM's not hitting their radar, you see all these people flying all over the place. You just sneak right in there.
Yep.
It's really cool.
You could park like 3 kilometers away from the Hathor hole and run in, and it only took like 5 minutes to run into. I was like, damn, this is crazy. I was like,
Just
I'm so
B-hop all
far
the
and I'm
way,
already
dude.
there.
Yeah.
You don't even
Just
get like
B-hop and low
BPM
graph.
issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually on that note, it is something I really like about Star Citizen is all these variables that kind of make each part of the game have its own kind of meta. Like how Pyro 1 is really hot, right? So these Volt guns, they all overheat really fast. It's good to like take like the best Volt gun for that, I would say, is the Parallax, because it has the longest time to overheat, right? So it's like best on a hot planet. Or you just go the ballistic route and you have no overheating. It's like that's kind of cool. You go to a fucking cold planet and those Volt guns are gonna be cracked.
Yep.
Like they're not
dude, that Volt SMG.
that
Sheesh,
quartz,
dude, like
just
damn,
shoot
bro.
nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that thing's about to slap. Yeah, I do. I do like the different environmental stuff. I because it changes, like you said, it changes your way the way you prepare for a PvP fight. Like when I'm in CZs, I play like I'm playing Tarkov. Like I'm in customs in Tarkov when I'm in the contestant zones.
Mhm.
When I'm at Hathor, it's completely different. When I'm at Lazarus, I have a completely different load. I use an FS9 at Lazarus.
Good man.
I hate the FS9.
Good man.
I think it's the worst.
It's
I
the
fucking
best.
hate it.
It's
But
the
I'm
best.
using it because
It
I
got-
have
okay,
to use
listen.
it for the worm.
It got fucking dude. That shit actually got buffed, and I now enjoy it. Like,
Oh, I love it.
I still hate
it's not a good gun. It doesn't have like the best TTK,
Mhm.
but there's big differences like between the AC between Arena Commander and the PU. So like let's say I go test a gun in Arena Commander, like EMP will go test every new gun in Arena Commander or whatever, and then we'll go in the PU and we'll be like, but is it good for the PU? And it's like, but like
It's a valid point.
because like the thing is the PU you get way worse frames, so there's like a choppiness. It's harder to track, right? So single fire guns, maybe they have some like issue where it's harder to click faster because you have shit frames
Yes,
or
yes,
stuff's lagging.
yes. I
Like,
mained the AO3, and that is 100% fact. The rate of fire is completely dependent on the server tick rate. Not only
Yep.
that, you get ghost hits a lot too. I noticed it. If
Yes.
like you were watching the stream the other day when I was fighting that 3-man, I was 100% getting ghost hits with not only the AO3 but with the dead ring. Like if you see me the time I wiped them, I jumped off like the top balcony and hit the guy that was like the last guy that was running underneath. But I watched back because I was doing like highlights, and I was like, dude, I'm getting no hit markers, but I'm on him. He's 5 feet away from me. I have a shotgun,
yeah,
and I'm dead center. So like, yes, you're 100% correct. There is a major performance difference. That's why I hate the P8. The P8, I think everybody loves the P8. And this is another one of my controversial opinions. I think the P8 is one of the worst guns in the game by far, and it's not even a question because it's so inconsistent. The recoil sucks, and I have the same issues with that I have with the AO3 where I get like ghost hits.
So here's why I like the P8. It's
I know it's
I
hate it.
well, you know the S71.
Mhm.
Also hate that gun.
I love that gun.
But yes,
I think well technically all the S71 is a slightly faster shooting AO3 with less range, right? Or whatever it is. So it's like I did testing with my friends we tested an AO3 S71 P8AR bunch of different basically single shot guns like that, right? Where you have to click one bullet comes out. Out of all the guns, the one that performed best in the PU was the P8AR. I don't know why. The S71, we literally shot 11 shots at me and only like I'll put it this way. I was shot at 11 times. I had 11 hit markers on my screen, but I only took damage 7 times out of those 11 shots. So 4 of those shots just totally disappeared from the S71. Same shit with the AO3. And that was like, what the fuck is this hit reg issue?
Mhm.
Like
there's a
the
big
PU
issue.
is like, I don't know why in the PU these guns have like almost more like it's. I mean, dude, 7 out of 11's a lot. Like that.
Dude, that's
4 bullets
that's massive.
not registering. Like
That's
so I went to the P8AR and it's like the far majority of the time those bullets register, and I feel like the S71 is probably the best gun out of all of them, but you wouldn't know because if you try and use it in the PU, it's like your fire rate's like blocked by the terrible tick rate. You know what I mean? Like, and all this other stuff. And it's like, I think that's why the P8AR is like so much is it does have a good TTK, but it's like the amount of damage each of those shots is doing is really high. So if they do manage to connect, it's like you are dealing practical damage to someone. Another thing that's funny is like the SMG, the P8 SC. An Arena Commander, it feels weak. You try and use it, it's like, dude, I just put 30 bullets into that guy. Why isn't he dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But you go in the PU and you're like, oh man, I got low frames. This guy's jittering around. I don't care because you can control the recoil really easy on the P8 SC. It's like you're just beaming everyone with it. So it's like you're making up for the shitty performance with a gun that like kind of makes it easier to use in the PU, if that makes sense. Like the gun will end
does.
up performing better in the PU than it would in Arena Commander because of these bugs and its performance issues. So I think that's like that
makes sense.
AO3 and S71. I had more hit reg issues with those rifles than sniper than any other gun in the game. I'm not even joking. Like it was so frustrating. Like
I hate the P8 though still, because for me it's inconsistent though. Like I don't know what it is, but for me the spread. Oh, I know, actually I know what it is. The spread is bad. So for me, I value the accuracy of the AO3 over the P8 strictly for that reason. That and the recoil pattern. Like the P8, I haven't used the P8 honestly well enough to like actually like learn the recoil pattern. I'm sure if I used it for 100 hours, I'd be just as good as I am with the AO3. But for me, it's the spread that's the big problem. And like I value consistency over anything, and I can't use it. I'll take the ghost hits just to have less spread. That's why I like the AO3 better than the P8. That's why I think the P8 is pretty bad, because it's super, for me, it's just too inconsistent.
yeah, I don't. It's oh man, maybe I gotta try the AO3 out again. I don't know. The P8
I like it, dude. I've been singing its high. I get it, right? Like if you use the P8, like I didn't buy the CitizenCon package, so I never really had the P8. I never really used it, but I always had the AO3, so I used it and I got really good with it and I got really used to it. And I'm like, oh, I like this thing, right? But I never really used the P8. Then comes, oh, you can get the P8 now pretty easily in game. So I get a P8 and I'm like, all right, there's hype around this. Like, let me see what's going on with this thing. And I start using it and I'm like, I'm at Hathor and people are assaulting my hole. So I'm going out and trying to defend them. And I'm at like 25, 30, 40, 50 meters. And I can see my bullets, like the spread, just the cone open up. And I'm like, if I had an AO3, I would kill that guy. And I put it down immediately. So it was anecdotal one situation, and I was like, fuck this thing. And ever since then, I've been a hater. I have tried it though. I have retried it a couple times, and like, maybe this week, like on stream, like if I do CZs or something, I'll try it out. Or if we get to the worm again meta, like,
I'm sure
I'll try that. I'll try.
Have you tried that 70% tweaker compensator on it?
Yeah, it increases the spread. No,
it on the P8AR. It
increases the spread. I can't.
It does, but I'll put it this way: the spread increase, in my opinion. Like I did testing at different ranges for it. I don't think the spread is great enough for it to like actually make a practical difference. Like you will shoot pretty much almost the same when you're ADS'd, at least you will shoot very, very close to the same spot, even at like 40, 50 meters. So like I took that I even with that compensator on there.
Yeah, granted, I was when I was like, fuck this thing, dude, it was like in the open plains of Daymar around the hole.
Those are some long ass distances.
Yeah, so it was like 40, 50, 60, 70. And in my head, I was like, I hit these all day with the AO3, no problem. Like not a factor.
I would at that point I just pull out a fucking P6LR.
Well, yeah, that's what we would do. Yeah,
that's my favorite.
My go-to sniper for sure is the P6.
So
I do quickscoping montages with that thing, dude. I love that thing. I just wish it one-shotted heavy armor. That's my only gripe with it. It should 100% headshot, one-shot heavy armor.
Isn't it a 50 cal? Isn't it supposed to be a 50 cal?
It should.
Yeah, that's my point. So, like, let me one-shot heavy armor, please.
I think they don't want it because. Well, okay, there's another whole conversation we could have. In 3.20, they started to increase the time to kill. Like it takes longer to kill people for every gun. I think that was kind of the big negative downside of that was with long time to kills, every game that does this has an issue balancing between different ranges, and people end up gravitating towards like a one size fits all gun, which like defeats the whole purpose of weapon diversity. Like you want like kind of a rock paper scissors thing going, where like if someone takes all long range, they can get rushed by a short range person and get killed. You know, it's like hard for them to Like you took a sniper that shoots once every 5 seconds,
Yeah,
and you got
Destiny
rushed by a
Trials 1 or
shotgun. You
web.
should die. Yeah, like that's
Free
just the way
game.
it works.
I see 3 snipers, no shotguns. Sweet, I'm putting on a shotgun. I'm aping you every round, and it
Right.
works. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's and I like that, and I think that's something this game should have. But when they elongated that time to kill, what they did was they created this like mathematical impossible. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's mathematically impossible to balance a sniper with CQC weaponry at this time to kill, because what ends up happening is it's like, well, I want my sniper to actually do damage and be a sniper. Otherwise, you could just rush the sniper with mid-range weaponry and then just kill the sniper with your mid-range. You know, like he never even gets to shoot you in long range because he's not doing enough damage to deter you from rushing him. So like it defeats the purpose of a sniper if the sniper's not doing enough damage. So like what they did in this game is the sniper's doing 95% damage to a head. And it creates this scenario where it's like, well, I'm hitting a headshot with a fucking sniper. The dude should be down. Like, otherwise he could just rush me. And the meds, even if the meds, let's say, right now they give you 100, but let's say even if the meds gave you 50, you get hit in the head from the sniper, go behind cover, med, come back out, rush at him again, med, rush at him again. Like, you're not, like, that sniper is not deterring a player enough from rushing them with how powerful that gun should be, and I think that's a big issue because like now it's like that's why something like a P8AR ends up being a good jack of all trades, or like a S71 or AO3, because now a P6 can get rushed really easy because it doesn't kill in one shot, right? Like, so how do you balance that? Like you make the short range weaponry better, but then like now that P6 has no chance. Now that dude gets rushed by a shotgun and it's like he has no chance. So then what they did, it's like, why don't we make the snipers really good? Well, now what you're doing is like you'd use a P6 for everything. If everything gets one shot in the head by a P6, that's the best gun in the game. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but there's a high skill ceiling there, though, right? Like if you're at a CZ with a P6, like unless you're a rat in a corner, which like there's plenty of those, but you have to quickscope someone or hit like a lucky no scope, because the spread is so bad that you're not really going to hit a headshot unless you get like 1 out of 50 shots. You're going to hit a headshot like that. Fine, but if I can quickscope, let me fucking quickscope, dog. Like that shit's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, it's just kind of like, just let me, if you're so scared about it being overpowered, like really the only way you're going to have it as someone like overpowered is you have like phase montage come in here and like start quickscoping people.
Right.
But it's not COD. Like the aim down sight time is like 2 seconds. It fucking sucks, dude. Trust me. I have to get like 150 clips to do like a 30-second montage that I do on TikTok. It fucking sucks, dude. It's so hard. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Like, just fucking buff it. Right. No one's doing that shit. No one's going to go in there and quickscope. It's not COD. So just fucking buff it.
There is a way to quickscope.
Let me know the unknowable tech. Teach me.
I will. It's because I quickscoped with the P. I was jumping quickscoping people with the P6 like 2 weeks ago. It's really fun.
What kind of tech is this, dude?
But
all right, later problem.
I will say the thing is, like, it's just all of these other guns take so long to kill a player with. Any gun that one shot kills will be the de facto best gun. Even if it's just a headshot, like people would rather take that and take the 50-50 shot of hitting the headshot than taking another gun which has a much longer time to kill. Do you get what I mean? Like that's one shot
100%.
dead. The other one's like
I take that all day of the week
for a full seconds, and it's like I think that's the issue with this time to kill. I don't mind that they made it longer than it used to be. It used to be really short, like 0.2, 0.3, which I'm fine with, but I get that they need to add different levels of armor and shit to the game. So like elongating it a bit was fine, but going into this like 0.7 head, 1 second for chest TTK, that's where we started having these major imbalance issues between snipers and close range weapons. And like you're saying, the P6 is hard to use, but if they buff it, then it's the best gun. I think like they gotta just lower the TTK a tiny bit for everything and make everything better than it is now. You'd have way more diversity. You could have a sniper be a sniper and still be good. You could have close range still be close range, still be good. Medium range be medium range. You know, and I don't know. I don't know why they're so unwilling to lower the TTK. It seems like they always like to nerf everything. It's like the quartz. The quartz is a great example. Super hot on Daymar.
Yep.
Insta overheats. And there's all these balancing mechanics to it. Like 20 meters in the PU is really far. Or really short, sorry. Like you need more range than 20 meters, and that's kind of like the quartz range. They nerfed it. And it's like, well, I don't know, that new shotgun's fucking really good in CQC. I don't know. I just feel like they nerf a lot of.
I hope Cowboy's watching this meta,
stuff.
because I was saying that one of me and Meta's friends that we were doing the worm with the other day, he was hating on the quartz, and I was like, bro, dude, the quartz and CZs, trust me, I'd still rather have a dead ring, but trust me, it kind of slaps. It's kind of fucking. It's
so
slaps,
bad.
bro.
I just hate it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the best short range gun in the game.
Yeah, it's fucking slaps, dude. Yeah, for my playstyle, I like the dead ring a little bit better, but the quartz does fucking slap, and it is very good. Or the shot. Well, the quartz, the SMG is, but also the shotgun.
It's great for CZs, like you said. I mean, it's an absolute monster in CZs.
Yeah, it's nasty. But okay, last question, and then we'll let you go. Your tier list. How'd you come up with it? How do you calculate it? You don't have to tell if it's a secret sauce, or just keep it high level.
Tier list for
your PvP orgs.
Oh, the weekly rankings.
Yeah, the rankings.
I love reading that.
Yeah. I love. Yeah, I like reading them. So I was like, I can't have you on and not ask about them.
So, the number one thing I went with was like activity. So if you were a group and you were literally fighting groups every single day, like multiple groups, you're gonna be probably on the board. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of groups in the game who are actively PvPing every single day like that, and like fighting other notable groups and winning. So it's like if you're doing that, that's like the number one thing. The number two thing is like how you perform versus other active groups, right? So it's like kind of like a flow chart, like who's active out of these groups, who's playing the best out of the active groups. And that's kind of where I would start like filtering them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like Griefernet, for example, they fought like every group in the game at one point during the 12 weeks that I did the weekly rankings. They had basically fought every single group in the game. It felt like, I swear, they were hitting like all these events nonstop every day. So they had the activity thing down. They were beating other notable PvP groups pretty regularly. So they had the skill portion of it down to a decent amount. And then when it came to like, I had the PvP org of the year, the final one. What I basically did was I took like it was like a point system. So if you were ranked number 1 a week, you would get 5 points. So I went over all 12 weeks that I did it, and if I added up all the points for each team, so Griefernet had the most number ones or the most placements, so they ended up getting the most points. And I think it's well deserved. I mean, they played in by far more than any other group in the game. I mean, they sent me videos literally every single day of them beating another group or something, and I'm like, it's not even like conjecture or hearsay. It's like they're showing me the actual video from their POV of everything happening, and I'm like, wow, that is like the real deal. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not lying when I write this, because like that was a big part of it, is I only wanted to include stuff in there that was like I could actually verify in some form. If I couldn't like verify that it happened like that, I didn't want to like write it in there.
Right.
It to a lot of, I think there's some people who didn't think it was that hard, but it took a lot of work messaging all of these people from every org and then reading everything they wrote and watching all their videos and then writing up the whole thing every week. It was a lot of fun. But it was a lot of work too. And like at the end of the day, I kind of just want to play the game with my buddies.
Yeah.
And not be like doing that every day.
Boys,
like,
bro. Yeah. Because I feel like that's
that's
definitely like a full-time job kind of thing, like tracking everyone's activity, verifying, cross-verifying.
It was a lot. And thankfully I rarely had orgs argue with me about something that was written in there. Everyone was pretty chill with everything, and they all liked the honesty of the write-ups. But I like another thing is the org that I'm in was really looking forward to CZs, and that's kind of like our bread and butter is like FPS stuff, right? So like we were winning a lot in the CZs, but like I don't want to like go and write about my own group either and be like, "Oh, we were number one this week." Fuck
I'm
you
naming
guys.
us the best in the world, bro.
I was like, I'll just beat the people and we'll let everyone else decide who's the best CZ group or whatever. So that was like, I didn't want to like have a conflict of interest while writing the rankings. I really hope someone else kind of takes the idea and goes with it though, because like I don't have the time for it, honestly. It's just very time consuming.
I work 60 hours a week and post every day. I also do not have the time. Meta?
Same.
Maybe?
No,
No,
I'm working 60 hours.
Pass the torch somewhere else then.
There's a reason why no one's doing it. Let me tell you, it's a job.
I can't do all 3 jobs at once, bro. I can barely focus on 2. But all right, Heimdelight. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your opinions. This was a lot of fun. We went way longer than I thought we did. I mean, I feel like we can go for another 2 hours.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, no, it
go
was
for 2 hours.
Awesome
I feel like we
convo.
could. Yeah, we'll probably most certainly have you on again. So awesome convo. This game's going places,
thank you for
and
having me.
It's exciting.
Course,
Again, you're an OG in the PvP space. I'm relatively new. Like I've done TikTok now for 6-7 months, but like getting into this PvP and streaming and everything has been only like 2 weeks, right? So like for me, like learning from you guys and everything is pretty cool. So
you haven't even gotten into the org drama yet. You're so fresh in the community.
No, I'm good, bro. I'm fucking good, dude. I'm a solo PvPer, bro. I'm solo PvPer, dog. I'll join it here and there. Yo, Sky, like you were frying the other day. We need you, cool. But no drama for me. I don't want no drama. I don't want Greasy Khaleesi on me. I want no fucking drama ever, dog. I'm good, dog.
I love Greasy Khaleesi.
He's funny. He's funny, dude.
Okay, you guys want to hear? Before I go, I'm gonna tell you one of the best Greasy Khaleesi stories. What made me like a huge fan. That guy might rip on the game a lot, but he is one of the most passionate people about the game and what it originally was supposed to be. Like he's on our side. He wants the hardcore open sandbox PvP stuff. Like I don't know. He had this one video where like The Legend of Zelda, like Zelda's lullaby was like playing in the background, and he's like showing these cinematic shots of the Microtech mountains, and he's like at Ghost Hollow standing on a thing, and he goes, "You know what makes this game so special?" He's like, "You feel immersed in the universe. You see that mountain over there? You can actually go to it. It's not some bullshit loading screen." He's like hyping up the game, and I was like, bro, that's actually so true. Holy shit. You forget sometimes. Like
you do.
You know, we were saying we're spoiled.
Oh,
you know, he's the guy who like, dude, he's the OG when it comes to reminding you just what kind of awesome game this is. And it's like that's why I became a huge fan. I know he's like super negative about the game, but he was equally as positive at many points. It's the guy's he's very in tune with the game. As dramatic as things get sometimes. It's very,
he was getting in on it with Power GPU the other day. I was like, bro,
I saw.
What are we doing, dog?
Every time I see
the guy is so nice. Like that guy is,
bro.
Jesse is so nice, dude. Like when you, I was like, bro, the guy is so nice.
He's going scorched earth, bro. He's no one stands in his greasy's way.
I was like,
That's awesome.
damn, bro. I was like, I'm good, bro. I want none of that smoke, dog. I'm just, leave me to my TikToking ways, bro. Don't go on TikTok, dog.
He puts the like fucking the greasy Khaleesi gifs and stuff. He's got the AI making shit now. I'm like, oh man, you don't want to chat PvP that guy on Twitter. You're screwed.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Yeah, never download TikTok, please. I'm good, bro.
I'm good.
Anyway,
Oh man,
thanks
awesome
for joining.
talking with you guys.
It was
though.
fun.
Yeah.
Meta, you got anything
fun.
else before we say good night?
I don't think so, man.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, see you guys. Chat, thanks for watching. Thank you to Ghoster and Epitome for the follows. And Zoomington, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the love, the support. You guys have been killing over on TikTok the last week. We have like 100K views in 4 days, so that's fucking awesome. Go check out Meta. Hem, where can we find you?
YouTube at the Heimdelight.
I've been saying it wrong this whole entire time. That's okay. It's my own accent. And that's all right. I'm dyslexic. That's what I'm going to say. I'm dyslexic. Heimdelight. There we go. Yeah, the E before I, except after C. My bad. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Heimdelight, for joining. And Meta, as always, appreciate your partnership. Good night, guys. All right, we are off air. I can't believe I said your name wrong the whole fucking time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's all good. I just thought it was an accent.
That's fine.
It